Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Compassion Show. And I am so happy to welcome Keisha Sheikh, from the founder and CEO of, and I can say this because I have used Keisha personally for my own LinkedIn strategy and optimization. In fact, Keisha has supported two of my previous companies, and it's been an incredible experience. I'm so blessed to welcome Keisha today, who is by far, to me, the best LinkedIn personal branding consultant in the market. And with over
Thank you.
32,000 followers on LinkedIn herself. So this is an incredible discussion we're going to have today. And the discussion we're going to have is compassion and social media, and why business leaders have got to pay very close attention to this, because compassion is really needed right now. I mean, we're in a turbulent world. Everything's gone topsy turvy. Every corner we turn, there's a new problem. So we're on the precipice of a huge mental health crisis in business. So I think social media will play an incredible role and a part to play. So, Bakesha, thank you so much for joining us today. And would you mind just kind of sharing a bit about you, a bit about what
Mhm.
you do? How do you help organizations with social media, and particularly with LinkedIn?
Yeah, perfect. And thanks for that lovely introduction. That was very nice. Wasn't expecting that, but thank you very much. So, as Nigel said, I'm Keisha. I'm a LinkedIn personal branding consultant. So, essentially, I work with businesses to help them to generate leads using LinkedIn by building their personal brands, having a strong outreach strategy, and a strong content strategy to become thought leaders on LinkedIn. My background, I used to be a CIO headhunter, so I've worked within the C-level space for quite a lot of time. I started out at Harvey Nash, but quickly fell in love with LinkedIn in that process and realised what opportunity there was on LinkedIn, and also to build a personal brand and to get more opportunities via using LinkedIn, because I was getting a lot of opportunities and new clients using LinkedIn, but equally I was getting a lot of questions from CIOs, from C-level leaders of how can I actually, Keisha, how can I stand out from the market? How
Mm.
can I get more opportunities? How can I get more clients? So then I started to create personal branding workshops, and I almost went on tour with that throughout the UK, running those workshops, and they were super successful. And then after a few years, then I decided to set up by myself to help businesses do the same, to build personal brands on LinkedIn, to stand out, but ultimately to generate leads and get new clients with using the platform.
Well, we're very blessed that you've done that and started your own business, which is great. But I guess the first question I have for you, really, and I'm very conscious of, obviously, my business is about, I'm a compassionate leadership coach and mentor, and trying to create a movement where everyone is experiencing the benefits of compassion and empathy and kindness in business. And there's a lot of misconceptions around social media, particularly around compassion and empathy and kindness. So, what's your feeling about this? What is some of the common misconceptions you're seeing?
I think right now, majority of people that are posting on social media, they're just using it all about business, all about services and product, and not really showing much human side to them. Some people are starting to, and I love that. And I think you and I both know some of those people because we're in various groups together where we've connected to like-minded people, which is amazing. But there's still out of 900 million plus now LinkedIn users, there's there's still so few that actually realise, hold on a minute, even though we're all on here for career or business or to network, actually we're all human at the end of it. So I think the misconceptions are, especially with LinkedIn, which is where I specialise in, is we just need to use LinkedIn just to post about serious stuff, just
Yeah,
about corporate business work stuff, just the generic things about services, about products, but not actually about people, about how people are doing, and actually promoting compassion, promoting looking after one another, but promoting kindness as well. That, like I said, there's more people that are coming around to it and just realizing, hold on, we're all human, we should all be kind to each other, regardless of our job role. But misconception, especially with LinkedIn, is all we can post in here is serious corporate stuff. We can't use it for anything else.
yeah, and that's, again, I think that's a big misconception. And obviously, you know, I've been a big user of LinkedIn since it started, and I was fortunate to be one of the first million users. So I'm glad that 900 million have now followed on. Maybe I started something.
Yeah, it was all you.
but you're absolutely right. It was like this kind of, let's promote our products and services on LinkedIn. Let's do that. Let's kind of set a company page up and let's do that. But actually, when you think about what you just said there, 900 million. So it won't be long until we hit that billion number, and that's a lot of hearts and souls and minds that are accessible to some great information and information around, compassion, empathy. So I think what you just said is actually we are at an inflection point, moving away from LinkedIn being promote to being human.
That's it. And you can still add value. So I always encourage people on LinkedIn to add value and to become a place of resource, a place of knowledge, and be helpful if you want to become a thought leader. But you can still be human. And again, you sometimes see people saying, "Oh, LinkedIn's not Facebook. Stop sharing your own stuff." But there's a balance, isn't there? You want to share enough that you're letting people in, but show that you're human. But equally, I always do, say, make sure you are adding value as well. So whoever your ideal prospect is, whoever your ideal community is that you're trying to create, always think, how can I show up and add value to those people? It's not you don't always have to show up and just talk about you. Just think, how can I help the people that I want to build into my community?
Yeah, I think it's about how can I show up authentically? How can I show up being the best version of myself? So, and I think that, and I think when I started using, again, this is another misconception I think businesses have, or leaders have, or people managers have around LinkedIn, particularly, is that it was this medium of distribution of information.
Yeah.
But now it's still that. The information is different.
That's
the information has got to be about emotion and supporting. So so we were talking about this the other day, which was, I guess I think when it comes to my next question actually is what are some examples of businesses and individuals and how they're using LinkedIn to promote compassion and kindness. I think this is kind of what I was saying really is that it used to be around promoting information of a certain type, quite staid, quite conservative. Now it's moving to more an emotional element. And it's interesting how you said, oh, stop treating LinkedIn like Facebook. Well, actually, no, I think we probably should, because there are a lot of people who are feeling anxiety, stress, worry, anger, hurt, loss, so the need of a platform that has enormous reach and something that most people wake up in the morning in business will look at LinkedIn and last thing at night will look at LinkedIn. So do you have any good examples of uses of social media?
And so on that comment, just before we move on to the next bit, I think, you do sometimes hear, you hear it less now, people saying, oh, don't just post about your own things because it's not Facebook. It's the posts that do the best engagement are the personal posts, or the post got it's you in there, it's a picture of you, and you can still give value in that post. But remember, even though it's LinkedIn's the number one B2B social media site, it's still the businesses are all run by humans. So don't forget that when you are posting, posts for other real humans, because just because it's B2B, essentially that's what it's known for. Businesses are run by humans. So the personal posts where you're showing your face, where you're visible, are the ones that are getting traction. So with your question around examples of business and individuals, so there's a few that I can recommend that are active on LinkedIn, but are also doing some great things within the space of compassion and being conscious and being a conscious human. So there's two people.
My cat just jumped up on the desk. I do apologize.
Oh, that's fine. Join in. Oh, hello. We've got a feature. Hello.
Sorry,
so there's one. So there's Dominique and Esther. So they run the Conscious Enterprise Network. So I'd really strongly recommend them and following their movement. So they essentially are getting leaders to together who want to be more conscious in business, compassionate in business, more empathetic to one another. So definitely them. And then a couple of the people that you know of as well, and you've had one on your podcast recently. So Brett Packard, I love what he shares and what he posts about daily, and also Paul Gunn. I feel like his posts are really down the route of, you know, compassionate leadership, empathetic leadership, and really motivational as well. So there's so many that I can think of, but I would say more business leaders, more companies are definitely trying to do more around it, but often most just don't know how to do it. So that's just a few names. And obviously yourself, I feel like you're definitely sharing a great movement, because also your background, you've had like super successful, you know, senior level roles with like super large businesses, and you've been leading from the front with this as well, which is really valuable.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So
and
I guess
it's important, you know, as a leader to actually be like, no, this is something really important to have in your business. It's really important to have overall success. It's no good just focusing always on the bottom line. Actually care about your people, and it'll have a direct impact.
Yeah, and I think the next question I have for you was to follow on, which is, I think business leaders, people managers think that LinkedIn is the responsibility of someone else in the company. It's like another department. It's almost like, you know, marketing will do that, or, you know, I use LinkedIn when I need to find a job.
Yeah.
I use LinkedIn when I need to do some prospecting. Well, actually, yes, you can do all that. That's brilliant. But business leaders are going to start using social media in a completely different way, and business leaders are going to be responsible and accountable for doing it. They can't give this to someone else.
You physically can't, and even if you've got a marketing team, they can't be you. They can't show up as you. They can't be your voice. So definitely within business leaders, with them showing up on social media, and I strongly recommend you do this, especially now that we're working more in a hybrid model. Not everyone's in the office. You want to use your LinkedIn and your social media to spread the message of compassion, spread the message of kindness, and show your face, be visible, because your team, this is the way that they're going to connect with you and see you most likely. So by you building your own personal brand, your own, you know, story of being compassionate, caring, that's only going to trickle through to your team, and your teams will be online, they will see it. And it's always difficult to spread that message now, because again, unless you're in an office, again, you're not going to be sharing that type of stuff every day. But when you're online, you can be sharing it, you know, often throughout the week. And it just spreads a really nice culture, and also the attitude of, actually, this is a person that we're working with, you know, he's our leader or she's our leader, and actually we want to, we respect them, we appreciate they're compassionate and that they're human, and people will feel more inspired to work for you and with you, because you're actually showing that side to you. So I think definitely use it to spread the message of being compassionate, showing empathy, showing kindness to one another, but equally it will trickle down through to your team, and they will appreciate and respect you for being visible and showing that you care.
And how do you help business leaders to overcome, you know, take this step of, but I've been through the process with you anyway, so I know what you do, but what kind of advice, what do you help them overcome?
I think when it comes to business leaders, and a lot of leaders in general, when it comes to using LinkedIn, even though they're super successful in their roles, they could say to me, I'm an introvert, or I've got imposter syndrome, or what on earth do I post? This is embarrassing. Like, what are people going to think? So I always just take them like step by step, almost like, let's just get your first post done. What message do we really want to get out there? Let's just record a quick 30-second or 60-second video. I'll help like with scripting it to make sure that we just get something out. And also I would just remind them that nothing is perfect. So, you know, every post you do, you'll get more confident. And people don't want perfect anymore either. Like the over scripted, over edited videos, people aren't interested in. People prefer raw, real videos, real content. So we do that, but also I put in a place of, okay, what themes do we want to get out this month? What themes do we want to get out this year? What do we want to be known for? Who do you want to be known for as a leader? And then start to plan out content for the week of like, let's post this on Monday, this on Wednesday, this on Friday. And then just to make it really easily digestible and not overly time consuming to be able to do is the most important thing. And helping leaders realize LinkedIn's not that scary. The longer you put it off, the worse it will get in your head. So just start, and it becomes addictive. It becomes fun because you get to connect with other leaders and other people, and your team members see you, and it makes you more visible.
Yeah, and again, it's overcoming that hurdle of just starting, I guess,
Yeah.
and then just building and building. It's like anything, it's like anything in business. You've got to start small and build and build and build. But I've just been thinking about how, you and I are part of the same kind of social, the groups on LinkedIn, and we're kind of helping each other and fostering that kind of great relationship. And I've always been staggered by this number, which you talked about, 900 million people using LinkedIn, which means probably a large proportion of an organization is using it in some form or other.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, again, we talk about it all the time, and I've got some crazy statistics that 1 in 5 people in a company is feeling stress or anxious. 1 in 5 are feeling sadness and anger, which are really horrible emotions and have negative consequences. I mean, in some cases, tragic consequences.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that if everyone was using this platform called LinkedIn, and they won't use email because it's just old-fashioned and out of date, and there's no real emotion to email. It just it doesn't work that way.
So no face behind it really with email.
There's no face behind it. You're absolutely right. And I'm wondering whether, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, how business leaders, HR leaders, ESG professionals, anyone who's kind of got a employee welfare duty of care, which every business leader and people manager does, but there are particular departments, as we know, who do it. How can they use LinkedIn? Should they use LinkedIn as a way to catch people who are feeling vulnerable, stress, anxiety, got anxiety or worry? Should they use LinkedIn for that?
I think they definitely can use it for it. I think it's more sharing posts that show that you care, that show that you're compassionate, show, like that are almost motivational, but, that show that you're there for them, and encouraging people to speak up. And if you can constantly be visible, sharing that message that it's okay to come to us if you are, struggling with something, or, at this company, we care about how you're feeling, that type of thing. And if you constantly get that message out, then people will feel more likely that they can speak up. I think one of the big problems is that people don't feel like they can speak, or they feel that they'll be judged for it, or that it's embarrassing. So if even just by getting the message out there that, we care about you as an employee, as a human, even that would even help with attracting other, candidates to work with you as well. So it has a double effect that you care. Then I think just being visible in that sense of show your face as well as the team, to show that this is who we are. We care about you as an employee. We care about our team members. Come to us if you've got anything, and if you're looking to work with, if you're looking for a new role, then reach out to us as well. So you can almost use it for two things, but being visible. It comes down to being visible consistently and sharing the repetitive message to make people feel like they know you. Because again, with this virtual world we're working in, people might not even know who to reach out to, if they can reach out to you, if they'll get told off for reaching out to you. Like, people just don't know who's who anymore. So show up on LinkedIn and you'll actually be able to build relationships quicker and stronger than just hoping that someone will figure out who you are.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, again, this comes down to part of the anxiety that employees are feeling right now is because they've got too many applications to do a simple job. We've all suffered from that. And again, with social media, there's so many different channels of information and communication. It gets crazy. And I'm always thinking in my head, whether LinkedIn is sitting here with a golden opportunity to help business leaders and people managers use it better. And I'm thinking, using it for groups, internal groups, because you can close, you can make groups private, can't you? So that'd be fantastic.
But we're part of one like that, aren't we? That I created a while back. So you can create internal groups just in a messaging group. You can have up to 50 people in there. So that's a nice size. It's not too many and it's not too little. So you have up to 15. You can just have a private chat or a chat function there where you can check in on people every day, and and communicate back and forth, even use it as a bit of an engagement hub if you're sharing content. So yeah, there's definitely an idea that teams can create their own. I do it within sales teams where I will say, okay, let's create you a private group so we can make sure we're getting good engagement and supporting each other's posts. But then it does get to the point where people just speak back and forth as well. So it could definitely be used for compassion and teams, like checking in on each other, but having it as more of a chat, like where people can talk throughout the day is a really good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an underutilized network potentially, but with so many people on it.
And it's easy to use. It's easy consumable. Like you have it on your app or on the desktop, so people can always have it on them as well. So it definitely could be used for that.
Yeah, and I think and I'm going to try and encourage as many business leaders as I can who don't use it to just, I must say this quite bullishly, but just get on with it. And you've got to be a face on you've got to be a face on LinkedIn, because 44% of the UK workforce are now looking for a job. They think it's now a good time to find another job. 44%. Let me put this another way. Almost half of your workforce is now looking for another job.
Yeah.
Or think it's a right time to move.
Wow.
So you've got to be, as leaders, we've got to be thinking this through. I mean, it's like, we can't give up and say, oh yeah, they're going to go because they're going to get more money. It's not about money. Is not the big driver. It's everything else apart from money that's the driver why people want to look. And it's things like using a platform such as LinkedIn that can really begin to be one of those elements that can start to turn the ball back. You start to kind of stop this going through.
And retaining your team and having a happy workforce is going to mean more profits, more success for your business, because you're not going to have to keep hiring, training at the next person, and all the costs that come with that. I think the goal should be just keep your current team as happy, as successful, as motivated as possible, instead of always constantly looking for the next person, letting go of people, and you'll be far more successful as a business, because like you said, if almost half the workforce are now looking or open to looking, it's not a great place, but just put a lot of care into your people. Because the other thing is, if people aren't in a good place mentally, like we spoke about earlier, then they might be off on sick leave, that type of thing, which totally fine for people to off on sick leave, but you want to make sure that you check in with people to see something you can do to help to prevent that happening in the first place.
Yeah. And, again, using LinkedIn to bring all the different channels of information that sit outside of an organization, all that third-party information, all that employee support, all that employee welfare information, that can be brought into the channel of LinkedIn to help promote. It's not just...
And if people will see it, so sometimes when companies try too hard to have all these different portals and channels, people don't even click onto it. Whereas if with LinkedIn, people are on there, and if they're looking for a job, they're on there too. So do you know what I mean? So be visible on there, because that's where people are. And if you make too many different portals, people aren't checking that on a daily basis. They're only checking it because you've told them to check it. Whereas LinkedIn, they're on there, so subconsciously or consciously they're going to see what you're posting. So use it as a platform to spread the awareness internally and externally.
It's a very piece of good advice, that actually what you just said there. It's because they are visible, and we're all over-apped, we're over portaled in business, and we've got to as leaders, we've got to make the decision. We've got to back the right application horse for our employees. And old-fashioned stuff is just going to go, but we have to be brave, I guess. That's what, for me, on LinkedIn, it's about leaders being brave and not being worried about sharing this information about compassion and empathy and kindness.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be brave to show up and start sharing that message without. So no, again, sometimes people think, oh, is this a bit cringe me doing this? No, it's not. We're all human. We all, if you don't care about other people, then that's weird that you don't feel like that. So yeah, be brave. Start making that step. Once you've posted a couple of times, you'll know it from experience. It doesn't even. It's like, oh, I've got over that hurdle doing it once. I'm going to keep it, and then you enjoy the process of sharing content. And then you inspire someone else to do it, and someone else. And yeah, even things like teams could, or HR team, whoever would be looking after, employees and make sure, which again, there'll be lots of leaders doing it, that you could share like anonymous polls on LinkedIn to check in with teams. You can, constantly be checking in with them, because only you will get the result, no one else will. So it's not something that the whole team will see, but you can start to do polls on a weekly basis and that type of thing as well, to just check in, see how people are feeling.
That's interesting. Because actually, I think now, as you've been talking, and that's why I love doing a podcast show like this, because as my great guests come on and start talking, I start thinking about what they're saying and about different opportunities. And again, you brought something else up, which I think is really interesting, around how business leaders, they need to show up, as you said.
Yeah.
They need to not worry about posting, just start, be authentic, and don't be embarrassed by showing your true self, because as human beings, we are love and compassion. That's what we are. At a core level, we are love. That's what we are. And everything else is just tapes and masks and fog all around it. So we show up being truly authentic. And I guess it's that those people who are looking at posts of other business leaders and champions and people managers who are doing that, they're going to get a following, and they're going to get people saying, I want to go and work for that person.
Yeah.
She's great. I want to go and work for her. She's fantastic. Or I want to go work for him. Or I want to go work for that company, because they're allowing it to happen. So if you don't do it, you're almost going
to be left behind. And yet that's it. You'll start to attract the right type of employees to work with you as well, because they'll feel like that's just the type of person I want to work with. Like, what an amazing person. I want to be part of this journey. And if you're not, and it's a trend, the way things are going, people see someone online, they like what they're doing, they reach out, they connect, and then of course they're going to want to work with you in some capacity. If you're not visible, gone of the olden days of like, come and have an interview, tell us why you want the job and tell us why you should get the job. It's a two-way thing. Like, finding good talent, it's a two-way thing. So you need to make sure that you're showing up to attract the right talent as well, because if not, other people will, then they'll be more successful because they've got better people.
Yeah, and I was interviewing a guest a couple of weeks ago, and they talked about the interviewing process, asked the question about what's the soul of the company. And it's not the interview asking the interviewee about you as a person. It's the interviewee saying, tell me about the soul of this business.
Yeah.
And, if the soul doesn't match, then, well, you're not right for me. And it's one of those things. What are you guys, as if I'm looking to come and join a company, what are you doing around social media? What are you doing around LinkedIn? What's your strategy for that? Do you see it as being something that an organization should start to say, hey, this is no longer just a platform of distribution of information. This has got to be strategic.
Yeah, it's got to be more to it. And like I said, it's not fair just to leave that to the marketing team, because marketing, it has to be led from like the leaderships of actually, this is what we want to get out there. And actually marketing then do need to enable the leaders to be able to show up as themselves, because I have worked with a lot of sales and marketing teams where the marketing teams sometimes do put in restrictions of, no, make sure you post like this or that, but actually just let people be them. Obviously have guidelines of like, if you don't want them to like say something or swear or whatever, but let them be themselves. That if not they'll be too scared of getting it wrong, even more scared if you've got too many restrictions. So just let people show up as them, and that would be much more successful than putting in too much red tape around what they kind of can't do.
Amen to that. Let's hope we can make it all happen. So another question I have for you is, what do you hope to see in the future? And obviously we've been talking around LinkedIn probably being an opportunity for organizations to really leverage. And I'm not saying LinkedIn's anything. There are many others, but you specialize in LinkedIn, and I'm beautifully flabbergasted by the fact there's 900 million people on it, and this will just keep on growing and growing and growing, because as the new workforce comes into fruition, it will be there. They're already on it. So my 6-year-old daughter's got a LinkedIn account, for example. So it's not something new. So the percentage increase over the last 20 odd years has been quite steady. But I think there's going to be a huge hockey stick curve of people who will come into business now and they'll be already on it. So the 900 to 2 billion will be quite quick. It won't take 20 years to get to the next billion. It'll be quite quick. So what do you see? Yeah, what do you hope to see in the future about LinkedIn and its potential impact? I mean, generally, you don't have to be talking about compassion and empathy, really, but how do you see the future of social media and business?
Well, I would like to see it definitely being used more and more strategy behind actually. Let's make sure that we have a strategy to show that we care, to be more compassionate, to be kind. And I'd like to see more leaders showing up as themselves, more leaders just showing up as their true human self. But equally, I'd like it to be led from the business that actually we need to do something about this. Let's stop just being robotic, posting the same old corporate stuff, because it's boring and no one really wants to see it. Like, you can add value, you can be helpful without posting the same old corporate stuff. LinkedIn is a social media site to be human. So I'd like more strategy around that, around actually encouraging leaders to be more compassionate, and also just to be themselves and to almost inspire the teams beneath them to actually show up. I'd like everyone to be using LinkedIn, even if they just post once a week. But when they are using it, to show up as them, show up on camera, show up as their true self, because that's the only way that you're going to connect to other people. And it's the best way to do business. I always say to my clients, people that I work with, like, let's say you go to an event or a conference, you're going to show up as you, like yourself, how you look. You're going to be talking in your voice. That use LinkedIn as just a way bigger stage to do that. Like, why would you not show up as you? So use LinkedIn as your virtual stage to go and connect with other humans, as opposed to seeing it as just another site where you just post corporate stuff that no one's interested in.
You know what? Again, this is a sidebar thing. You know what I've noticed recently, and maybe I'm paying more attention to it now because in my mid-50s, I'm probably getting closer to retirement today than I was ever have been.
No,
but I'll never retire. But I'm seeing a lot of people saying I'm retired. On their LinkedIn profile.
I've seen that too.
Why have they gone? Don't go away. You have so much value.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I don't know why people do that. Like, it's a really good point. I think you don't need to say you've retired. Like, you're still like doing something. So you don't have to even put that you're retired. If you're working on a passion project or just something, you're most likely doing something. You don't have to just put I'm retired, because what does that mean? You're just not using LinkedIn, or you're not on it. Like, it just it's confusing.
Yeah, but there's so much value and experience and insight that this
you don't have to go off LinkedIn
because
you don't have to. And also, there's more of a trend now, more of a move towards people having portfolio careers, having multiple side hustles and businesses. So probably in the future anyway, people won't be saying I've retired, because it used to be like you'd stay in a job for like 20 odd years, 30 years, then retire. Whereas it's so different now. People have got multiple things going on. So I think
only one thing. I can't cope with more than one thing at a time.
Yeah.
No side hustles for me.
No, but you've got like an amazing business that you've got. So it means people have lots of different things going on. They might be in a full-time job, then have a side hustle business. They might have a couple of different clients that they work with on a consultancy basis. So there's so much more opportunity now. So hopefully, like you said, there will be more of a shift towards people just staying on the platform, not just putting up retired. But even if you have retired from your, whatever you want to call your career, then you can still add value. You can still network and share your insights with others. So you don't need to just put that you've retired, because what does that mean?
Those people
if you put that on Facebook, retired, and just not be on there.
Yeah, on those people who are retired, you're not listening to me on LinkedIn anyway because you're retired. But if you are listening somehow,
might be
come back to LinkedIn.
I think they just put that almost so that people, I think, because like again, back in the day, like LinkedIn is mainly used for a recruitment site. So sometimes I think people in their head think I need to put I'm retired so that I don't get approached about opportunities. But you don't have to put that.
Very good point. Very good point. And I guess as we're talking about this question about what do you hope to see in the future of social media, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. And I kind of the only question we put in my head as we've just been talking about the future of social media. what is your view on artificial intelligence and social media? What is your view on ChatGPT and social media? Do you have a view on that?
I think it's amazing. It's really, really great for content ideas, content creation, content like ideation, where you're actually like, you've got something you want to talk about. It can give you what you want to say, basically. However, again, I always come back to, don't lose sight of people want to connect with real people. So you can use it as leverage to help you with what you want to post about, but always remember to make sure that it's something you want to say, because again, they can help you so much, but it still needs to be you. But also, they can't physically show up on camera, on video, on picture as you. So don't just like leverage it, but make sure that you keep your own personality, your own style, because you can never replace human to human interaction.
Yeah, and I guess remember, you know Chris Gabriel. So Chris and I were on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him. We were talking about this question about the impact of automation and AI and in technology in general on the whole movement of compassionate leadership. And I guess this is one of those areas again that for anyone who's kind of nervous about taking the leap to use LinkedIn to, create a personal brand or just, be more visible, then I guess the whole use of AI will really help. Just to think about, what can I post about today?
It will help because a lot of people struggle with content ideas. That's probably one of the two things that make people come to me for is content and like content strategy. Like, what am I even going to post? They have no clue what to even post about. And the second is for lead generation. So when it comes to, and you can use AI with both, because you can use AI to help with your messaging sequences. You can use AI and automation to message, as we know. So, and equally with content, you can do stuff around, it helps you with content ideas. So definitely leverage it, but I'll just say don't let it completely take over everything, because I'd just always strongly encourage people, even if it's once a week, to show up, even if it's a picture of you with a caption that's useful, or if it's a video, even better, like you can incorporate that, because AI is amazing and it's great for content ideas, but the quickest way to form connection online is via showing up as you. And that's my big advice, I think, on that.
I have a new phrase for AI: authentic intelligence.
Okay, I like it.
Not artificial, authentic intelligence. That's a new phrase, because I think I can see a post that I know that's been written by ChatGPT. I can see it a million miles away. So we've got to be really conscious about, particularly with the subject of compassion and empathy, that we don't use these other tools that are available to us, like AI, just to do the same thing of posting something because it's easy to do.
If not everyone posting the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 100%.
You know what
right.
I mean?
So
that's the other thing. People soon get quite onto that as well. Like, oh, this one looks very similar to this post. Although AI can do loads, you can never. I always say, and it might sound really cringeworthy, but I always say, no one is you, and that is your power. Like, use you, like your passions, your interests, your caring side, like who you are as at the core, to your power. Like, because there will be, thousands of other sales leaders, thousands of other founders, CEOs, loads of other LinkedIn personal branding consultants like me, but no one is me. So always remember that leverage other things that you can use with AI and technology, but no one can replace you. So, no one can copy you and who you are either. So always show up as you if you can, even though it might feel awkward at first, it gets easier.
I guess that's why I like to do videos, because it's me, and I can't hide behind it. And that's why I kind of push myself. It's a nerve-wracking thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do, but I think as a business leader and a champion of a cause, I have to stand up and be accountable, and I think people have to see me to be doing that.
Yeah, and it's real then, and it's like people. And what I like about it is that before then someone even gets onto a meeting or a call with you or engages with you on message, they can go and view your videos, view what you've posted about. They already have a very good feel about you before you even get on a call. So you've done a lot of the legwork, whether you're a leader and you're building your relationships internally, or you're looking to get new clients on LinkedIn. By showing up as you've done a lot of the work, for people to view and see what you're all about before you get on that call. So it's nice and warm as opposed to cold.
And that's the thing about the whole platform, I guess. We're going back to where we started on the call, really, which is LinkedIn now becoming a human, warm place where it was before? It was just a marketing, advertising thing, and now it's not. It's moving. It has the opportunity to move very quickly into being a very humanistic platform that the businesses can use. But more importantly, I think it's a platform where business leaders and people managers can start to step up a bit and show their true, authentic selves. My dog is barking, so I'm not going to show my dog. The dog is barking. It's like a Zoom.
For some reason, so that's good.
Yeah, but listen, Keisha, yeah, carry on.
I was going to say, yeah, you're exactly right. It's encouraging, and LinkedIn are doing more to help people with posting, and they're doing they've turned this now something called creator mode, where it encourages you to do things like LinkedIn Lives and have newsletters. So LinkedIn are becoming more, versatile for people who want to post content and create content. So for leaders, just remember to step out your comfort zone. And if you're worried about people judging you at first, everyone has that worry when they first start, but then soon they'll be asking you how you do it and they'll want to follow suit. So just do it for your own purpose, for your own personal brand, and for showing compassion. And then other people, your team and other leaders will follow as well.
Listen, thank you so much for your advice. It's been great to have you on the show. And
you're welcome for having me.
I've got obviously on the screen, this is how people get a hold of you. And through my own personal experience working with you, your incredible insight, intellect, and professionalism, I would certainly recommend anybody who's looking to create a personal brand on LinkedIn. There's only one person to call, and that's you. So I would certainly, anyone who's listening, who's looking to do this and actually think about, where I started. Well, I'll share it. When I was working, when we first met with a large American software company, I've been someone who'd been in LinkedIn since 1998. So just after it started. So again, I think I've become laissez-faire with it. Like, oh my god, this LinkedIn thing, it kind of, I've got 3,000 or 4,000 connections or whatever, but I don't really use it very much. And then you came along and said, well, actually, no, it's not what it used to be. It's very different. And actually, you can start to think about using video. You can start to think about how you optimize your own brand and all these kind of things you were talking to us about, and then how we actually implemented it as a sales organization, as a marketing organization, and we came together to use it as a kind of ubiquitous single sales and marketing tool was quite eye-opening for me. And to now using it like this, this is doing a LinkedIn Live with you, the person that got me started doing it. So it really helped. And
that's it. There's so much opportunity on LinkedIn, whether it's to spread awareness internally or to get clients externally or build your own personal brand. And as you would have seen, there's so much opportunity. Like as we spoke about quite a lot, 900 million users, and 4 out of 5 of them are classed as decision makers within organizations. So it's the place to be to connect with others. So just if you do it in the right way, if you do it by being human, you can't really go wrong with LinkedIn from my experience.
Exactly. And life is about connecting. Life is about communication. Life is about meeting new people, and LinkedIn is a great way of doing that. So, and I think, again, I can talk about this forever, but I won't. I'll try and stop now. But the thing that I love about it, if you do it right, if you get the support from someone like yourself to help you get into a good, optimized position on LinkedIn, is you're going to meet people you never expected to meet. I met Brett Packard, and he was a guest on my show. That was only for about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I'm interviewing Paul Gunn, another inspiring individual in the US that I never would have met. I'm actually interviewing an author of she's written a new book around employee leadership. I would never have met that person because they're based outside of the UK. it's amazing if you get this thing
Yeah.
right, the people that you can meet and the new conversations that you can have. So
It's so true.
I
Like
think
you can meet the coolest people on like, and they you know, again, I always say to people back like what I said earlier, you can go to conferences and events all day long, but LinkedIn, you can literally just tap into so many like, you know, connections that can just, you know, you can provide each other with like valuable insight about, you know, a friendship or a business relationship, whatever it may be. And it's, yeah, like you said, you've met some really interesting people and amazing, and so have I. It's like, wow, this is all came from LinkedIn. So yeah, you're doing amazing on it, and I love the compassion show, but also what you're spreading now is really, really important that others do the same. So thank you to you as well.
Well, thank you. Listen, anyone who wants to get a hold of you, I put your LinkedIn profile address on the screen. So
you.
I thoroughly recommend it. But have a wonderful Easter break.
And you.
And as I said this morning in my post, take time for self-compassion. Take time to spend with your friends and family and enjoy and relax. So thank you again, and I'll talk to you very soon.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye,
Keisha.
Nigel. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.